Today's show is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering our listeners a free audiobook with a 30-day trial membership. Just go to audibletrial.com/beat and browse an unmatched selection of audio programs. Download a title free and start listening. It's that easy. Go to audibletrial.com/BEAT.
And I see the robin.
I'm just searching for equality, looking for some reason, no finding no apologies. But I do want opportunity, hard work, it ain't new to me.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Rach Da Gem back for another episode of Melanin Blvd. As usual, we have a guest every single week, and this week we have Makisha. How are you doing today?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thanks for coming on the Boulevard and taking time out of your day. So we're going to get to know a lot about you. You do a lot of great things for women in the community. And, you know, I want to talk all about it, especially with the topic that happened this week. But before we talk about that topic, unfortunately, last night, Nathaniel Woods was executed. So he was a gentleman that was in jail for a crime that they said he committed in 2004. There was no evidence. He never shot a gun, but he was put on trial for murder and sentenced to death. And they tried to stop it, but they didn't approve it, and he was executed last night. Are you kind of familiar with that?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. It's really disappointing that we still have to go through those types of things in the year that we're in is 2004. And for me, I think he was executed like in a short period of time because a lot of people are on death row for 20, 30 years.
I was curious about that. I was wondering about why that went so fast and what, the cover up is real.
Right.
I really do believe in conspiracy theories and cover up and just, we know what the messes are that the government has put into place and started and covered up over the years. So I'm not surprised by anything anymore.
Yeah, it's definitely not surprising, but it's just, we have to make that comparison to other cases of people who have had real evidence and they're still alive. 2004 to 2020, that's a long time to be in jail for something you didn't commit, and a short time to be on death row, especially for something that you didn't commit. So it's just really disappointing and heartbreaking. I was hoping that they would be able to grant that extension so that they could try to do like another trial or figure out some sort of way so that they did not have to execute him, but they weren't having it. The state wasn't.
No, they're not having it because that's intentional.
Yeah.
The exonerated five, the Central Park Five, were here just a week ago in Denver, and really having that same conversation around like, no, it's not going to change because it's intentionally in place.
Right.
It's not, the things we have to do to fight just to get a piece of justice here and a piece of justice there. It's ridiculous. Our men and women are being treated this way everywhere. It's an everyday story for our community.
It is. And it's really sad. It's kind of unfortunate because it's like, what do we do at this point? We can work to put people that look like us in these positions to make decisions, but we're still the minority when it comes to that department of this corporation. So it's really hard to see kind of like the light at the end of the tunnel because we are working so hard for justice and we're trying to stay informed. And it really makes it hard to kind of think like things are getting better.
Right. There's so many layers to it too.
Right.
You know what I mean? Somebody kicks you and you're down and you're trying to fight and get back up. And so you're not starting from a fair stance.
Right.
And so you look at the position our community is in to even fight something so massive. Mm-hmm. And we are not in fighting stance. We are, our men are in jail, our women are in jail. Every day the police are stopping and killing us. We're not in an equal stance to the system that's oppressing us.
Right. And just on the last, the podcast that dropped yesterday, my episode, I did touch on that lynching is now can be considered a federal crime. It's still waiting on the signature from number 45, but in 2020, now the Congress passes a law that says lynching is now going to be a federal crime. Things like that are just mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's similar to the marijuana laws that are passing. Now it's legal. Now that y'all done locked us all up.
Right.
Now that we don't have the resources to play in the entrepreneurial game with you and to buy the licenses and to, you've definitely destroyed our family structures, and now you're gonna pass it and say it's legal.
Right. And they're still out there arresting people, our people, for having marijuana because we're not getting it from them,
That's right.
So I always think that whenever the government gets involved, you're going to be dealing with a lot of bull crap, and there's going to be a plot behind that product. I don't think that is completely safe unless you know exactly where it's being grown. They add a lot of extra stuff in everything. So we can't think that just because it's marijuana that's not also happening, because it definitely is.
That's a good point. And Nutricide is real.
What's Nutricide? It's chemical?
Just the idea that, you can take out a community or, execute genocide style via the way you feed people, or food deserts, or feeding people, all the different documentaries that are out now with the health and everything, talking about what's in our food.
Right.
Like, it's all part of the systems of oppression.
It definitely is. I agree. Now, here's a scenario where the system kind of didn't work in their favor. It kind of worked out in our favor because we stood up. Honeypot, right?
Hey,
so this week, the white people out there thought, if we cause an issue, if we're offended, we're gonna shut this company down, and it backfired. They did the absolute opposite, and I was so here for it, and I loved it. Honeypot's been out for a while, and the fact that they're now in Target is amazing. And so you mean to tell me all of these magazines and tampon commercials and have always portrayed a white woman spinning in circles, but the minute that we have a commercial that has us in it, it's a problem, and now you're left out, and now you don't like that?
That's right. First of all, I just want to shout out to everybody who maximized and leveraged the black dollar to make sure that happened. If you bought Honeypot or had anything you posted online that encouraged other people to purchase, shout out to us sticking together and making sure that we use the black dollar to our power, to make change and to speak out and to help this woman and support this woman and back our own. On another note, I just think I'm just constantly annoyed, and I don't know if it's because I'm getting older or not, but I just roll my eyes at most stuff now. I'm so used to everything, all the shenanigans. But I really feel like it's one of those moments where privilege is just audacious, because really what she said was, I'm excited about my success because of what it means for other young black women. That's what they were responding to. And so we can't be excited for the fact that we now have models out there of entrepreneurship and success in a community where we don't have those type of numbers like you do. Right. We can't be excited about that.
No, we cannot.
Right. We can't be excited. And so it wasn't even about her saying that the product was for this person or that, unless I missed that. But from what I watched, she said, I'm excited about my success because now I'm opening doors. I'm blazing trails. A place where we weren't welcome previously, now we can be. This is a step up for us. This is a closing of a gap for us. And I'm happy and proud and excited to be a part of how what I'm doing, my legacy, is now going to empower another young black woman. And how could you even hate on that? That's some straight barbecue Becky stuff.
It is. It definitely is. And again, it's not surprising, but I was so happy to see us show up for her. And that's just what I want to continue to see us do for each other, is show up. And, on my page, I try to post, let's catch it before you feel like you have to boycott it. and go to a Black person in retaliation. Shopping Black is not a retaliation. Shopping Black is a way for us to keep our dollar within our community a little bit longer. Let's just try to extend it just a few days longer, some hours even. Like, we got to start somewhere, right? So,
That's right.
you know, it's a little bit annoying when we have to always hear about the boycott after we've been offended, when we've had options in front of us of great Black-owned businesses that we could have been shopping with. So let's just get in front of that and start and just intentionally shop Black. When you know you're going to go get a diamond ring, instead of going to Zales, go to that Black-owned business. It's that easy. You know, especially with planning things, you know, there's some things that are going to be a little bit more difficult, but start with the things that we can control. And Honey Pot is something that we had control over. She looks out for our body because she's not putting those harsh chemicals inside her products. And so it's something that, one, is better for us, and it supports the community. So I was very excited this week when that happened. Super geeked about that. But, you know, that's a Black female entrepreneur that you maybe have helped, right? And so that's what you do in your line of business.
Right. And just this, I think about when you talk about us getting behind women, Black women entrepreneurs or Black entrepreneurs, and circulating the Black dollar. I think about like how I want to see us be more strategic with collective impact, and understanding how far, if everybody spent, a good friend of mine, he owns an investment firm, and he's always talking about like, what if every Black person in America gave $5? And then we sat down and we had a collective strategy for what to do with that money so that we could change the game in terms of where we stand in this economy, in terms of what sorts of assets we own. And he talks in detail about it a lot. And it's really about collective impact, because I can give today, but if all of us give today, that's different.
Yeah.
You know, it's so much stronger if we coordinate and align, and really having better structures for that. And it's not just strategy and structure, it's also culture. And I don't mean culture as in race. I mean like just the norms and the values and the way that we do business with each other, and really looking at how to construct those things so that we are able to come together more easily and more strategically.
Right. I think that is very important, because we always hear about the reports saying that the Black community, we're big spenders. We spend the most money, but we have no control. So now we need to kind of retrain our mind and think about how we can shift that to be in our benefit. So we don't just have stuff, we have value, we have equity, we have land, we have power. So shifting that makes a huge difference. And, you know, a lot of these companies don't care about us, and they don't have our best interests at heart. And these products are hurting us instead of helping us. So as a collective, how can we make that better? I see a lot of people doing like crowdfunding, you know, especially with like real estate. And I love to see that, you know, but let's see more of it. You know, I think that a lot of our community doesn't have a grasp on the understanding behind the crowdfunding and how it works. Right. So I think that's where you get kind of maybe the pushback and lack of support and participation, because we need more people. And if we have a lot of people, the more people we have, maybe the less we have to give out. So more people will be able to be involved that maybe aren't in a position to drop thousands of dollars, maybe 100, because we have more people.
And everybody's looking for sort of, or I think often misguided by myths associated with methodologies like that. Like you think, oh, it's easy. Oh, it's not. There's a body of work around that as well. There's a set of strategies that you need to employ for that to work. Yeah, every now and then somebody pops off and makes a lot of money off it, but it's like winning the lotto. It's not like a set up system that's consistent that could be a way for us to to build unless we know how to work that system.
Right.
And so I think it's all about really having people understand how money works in these different kind of structures like crowdfunding. One of the things we're going to be looking at is starting giving circles across the country, Black giving circles, as a part of our network. And we have a loan fund now that we give out up to $50K to Black women entrepreneurs on, and just different structures for collaboration. Co-oping is not always about like the straight money fund, but like how are you bringing solopreneurs together to be each other's back office, to be each other's production system, or production line, and thinking about streamlining and helping each other so that we all win together. Having better leads groups and building referrals for each other. That's something that we do. We have something called Sister Leads where we generate referrals for each other. Creating our own good old girl network, good old sister girl network, and really understanding that those networks are powerful and they've been in existence for 100 years, and we need to start building our own. And of course, we got to do business with them, but we need to understand how to do business with each other and work within and empower ourselves to be able to move out in those spaces more strongly.
Right. Right. I definitely agree. And I love kind of the structure that you have, because you're not just helping with one thing. I feel like you saw maybe a need for a well-rounded system of services that you could provide these women, because once they get the funding, then what?
Right.
They still
right.
need support. They still need the leads. That's how you get longevity in your business. So what did you see as a need that caused you to start this business?
Well, first and foremost, a lot of Black women, the studies are showing, I don't know if y'all checked out the study on Black women entrepreneurs by the Federal Reserve of Kansas. Dale Gines over there did this huge study that has been talked about nationally for the past year really strongly. And some of the things that came out of his focus groups and his research were that there's a kind of mass exodus out of corporate America and mainstream organizations by Black women entrepreneurs because we're fed up and we feel pushed out. And often, sometimes it's not even our choice. We're underpaid, overworked. And so we're leaving out and starting our own business as a relief, a way out of that kind of, system where we're not being, valued. And so the entrepreneurial journey for us is often not one where it's like we're sitting at this cool table at this bar writing this idea on the back of a napkin and then somebody invests in us. It's not that. It's like, how do I make the ends meet in this house? How do I put food on the table for my kids? And, we're not a household that can survive on one income, or I am the only income in my household. And this business is going to either, be the side hustle that makes those ends meet, or it is the hustle where I got to put food on the table now because I lost my job. I was doing what I was doing for somebody else who's making millions. I should do it for myself. That's usually the story that women come to me with, and really stressed out, traumatized from where they came from and how they were treated. So having to deal with that while building up your confidence to do one of the most risky things in your life. It's a lot. And so first and foremost, I wanted to provide the support system in the community to say, you got this. You've got a network. You're not doing it alone. So it's a sisterhood first and foremost. And then secondly, I wanted them to really have the coaching and leverage the training and resources so that they make less mistakes, because they usually have a shorter runway. And what I mean by that is they don't have investors. They don't have access to loans and capital. And so they have a very short amount of time. Sometimes they're spending retirement. Sometimes they're like, I got 3 months in savings, if that. And so they're thinking about like, what am I going to do in the next 3 to 9 months to make sure that I can stay an entrepreneur versus having to figure out something else or be just kind of out. Yeah. And so that's what SistahBiz is about. It's about creating the support and the systems for the people to have no and low cost access to business development services.
Okay. And so you have an academy. I did notate that you had an academy. And so is this academy able to be attended if you live out of the state, or do you have to be in state?
Yeah. So we started off in Colorado, and we were going to focus on sort of the mountain region. And I felt like it was a saturated kind of market on the East Coast or in the South. So I thought, I'd think about just kind of serving this market. But the response from across the country has been amazing. So we have clients in LA, Kansas, Mississippi, New York, DC. And every day I get calls from women all over the country. So because of that, we're moving rapidly in the direction of making sure most services can be provided virtually, but we do still have some on the ground services this year that the city of Denver has partnered with us on. So we provide boot camps in person and that sort of thing here. But now we have a membership base that anybody can access with online master classes, with online monthly Black girl therapy sessions. Like last Black girl therapy session, we talked about hair discrimination. This month, we're talking about gaslighting, and then our master classes are on like technical entrepreneurial skills like sales funnels. And this week, we're going to do something on the virus and how to prepare your business and communicate with your customers around this coronavirus.
I love that. So, you're able to help them and adapt as things are happening. So it's not really just kind of a cookie cutter thing. Like, these are the things of business. I see a lot of people that are coaching and they're kind of saying the same thing in different ways, right? They're not really helping you through the day-to-day of your business. The fact that we're all aware of the coronavirus, but that is something scary for an entrepreneur, especially if you're product based or, having to get product shipped. Yeah, that is something that's a huge deal. And so that's amazing that you saw that and that you're able to kind of communicate that to everyone and not have them in a scared state, feeling like they don't know what they're going to do now.
Right. We got to be able to compete. So we've got to make sure that when stuff like this happens, it doesn't wipe us out because we're kind of the smallest guy. And so I'm constantly trying to think about like how to position our small businesses to compete and stay in the game.
So when you were building this business, did you have a coach or a mentor that kind of helped you put this together?
That's a good question. I mean, I have mentors. I've been a business coach for some time. In the 90s, I started working for the U.S. Small Business Administration. Over the years, I've done a ton of work in politics, curriculum design, innovation, business coaching. And so I don't really have a business coach because I kind of know how to build a business, but I do have lots of coaches and mentors that I refer to ask questions about how to build a growth plan and just to give feedback and to have a second or third or fourth eye on the way I'm planning and laying things out. But a lot of my coaching around what I'm going to do next in my business comes from me asking my clients what they want and listening to them and hearing, their struggle and trying to just get in the lab and innovate around like meeting them where they are and addressing their concerns that nobody else is thinking about.
Nice. So when you are getting these clients outside of just the funding, because we know that we need money to start businesses, what challenges do you see Black women facing a lot of times?
Oh, tons of challenges. So two of the big challenges, so I'll go with three. So the first is like social capital. So this idea of like, it's all about who you know is so real in business and everywhere, but it's so real. It's who you know. Like, it's the difference between having somebody write a check in 10 minutes that you need to launch a business for a full year and you having to take a year to find funders because you didn't know anyone. You know what I mean? And so who you know is so important, from the resources they can bring to you financially, to the calls they can make for you, to the things that they know, their knowledge and wisdom, that if you need something, like my new director of operations, she's like the tool lady, I call her, because if there's a business tool you need for something, she knows about that tool. And it saved us so much time. It saves our clients so much time, because now they're something that they might have been doing manually or didn't know about. Now it's taken care of, it's handled, like Olivia Pope. And so I feel like it's about that social capital, and relationship building is one of the challenges. We don't have a lot of wealthy people. In fact, I was in this meeting where I was pitching to like these really high powered, big money folks, and they were giving me some feedback on my business, and they were white and they could not understand why I wouldn't, literally, they were like, why can't you just tell your customers to go ask their friends and customers for money to invest in their business?
Okay.
I was like, oh, I didn't think about that. I'm gonna just have my people call their people, and then we all gonna have checks.
I mean, if it was that easy for us,
Exactly.
It'd be so great. It'd be so great.
So social capital and financial capital are two of the biggest things. Not having access to money or people and relationships, and then that third piece is the capacity of an entrepreneur. So not knowing how to transition from, like the book E-Myth says, someone who's doing the work to someone who's running the business of that work. So you may be a baker, but that doesn't mean you know how to run a bakery. You know how to run a successful business. And so there's a whole set of skills and a whole set of strategies that come with that role in your business as the entrepreneur versus what they call it in this book, the technician, the person who's doing the work. And usually when we open businesses, we're coming from a business where we were doing the work. So we know it like the back of our hand. Like we've achieved mastery, but we have not achieved mastery in entrepreneurship. So I would say those are probably the three biggest challenges.
Yeah, I see that a lot. Especially in like restaurants, you know, we know mom can cook, right?
Yeah.
She throws down, but opening a storefront is a whole different beast, you know? And so we see these restaurants go up, Black restaurants go up, and then they come down. And so just knowing the basics, if we can just get the basics down and build from that, I think that will make a huge difference in our success rate. And it won't look so scary to a lot of people also. Because you can know what you know, but it takes a lot more than that to have a successful running business. So with the funding, so you said it was not so much a crowdfunding, but you called it something else.
So we do have a crowdfunding activity on our website right now for our 8 retail entrepreneurs that graduated from our retail cohort last year. So you could go on our website and actually buy from any of those women. You could there's 2 buttons under each person's picture and profile. It says buy from her and it says invest in her. So you can either contribute to her crowdfunding campaign or go to her website and buy something from her. So we do have that up and running. But the other project that I mentioned was the fact that we just launched a loan fund, and we have about $250K fully committed and up and running right now. And we have soft commitments up to about $550K that are in paperwork process right now. So we expect to really have a good $700-800K by July. For this work, for this loan fund. And basically it's for women who can't get loans from traditional banks. It's character based. So if your credit is not great, it's going to help with that. But it doesn't come with, it's not just like writing checks because you have a good plan. It's like, have you done the coaching with us? Have you gone through our programs or our coaching experience so that we can be able to tell, our loan service who's running it for us that, they're ready to go. They know what to do with this money when they get it. They have a game plan, and they have all the systems and the support system behind them to make the most of the dollars when they come in.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question, is what would the qualifications be? So they actually have to go through your program, and you basically prepare them to basically get the yes.
Right. Now, if they come in and they don't need preparation, then I would waive it. But I have to go through a couple of coaching sessions to make sure they have everything they need. And then I would turn that information over to the loan service. But if they come in and they need it, then what I'm not going to do is send someone over to go through the process of getting a check that they then will not spend in the right ways. And then their business is in even more trouble and the loan is not paid back. I personally know what that's like. When I was a baby entrepreneur, I went through that. And so I very protective. Like, even one of the things that I discussed with the loan service that partnered with me to do this, I was like, we're not giving out them baby loans for $2,500 because they're going to spend it in a week and then they're going to owe you with interest, and they still are not making money in their business yet.
Right.
So I'm super protective about the way the loan product is structured and who we're working with to make sure that our ladies succeed.
Nice. I love it. I love it all. So are there any particular businesses that is it open to all businesses? Is it just open to product-based businesses?
No, all businesses. We just do our deep dive cohort program in themes. So last year we did all retail product entrepreneurs. This year we're doing all consultants and coaches and service-based businesses for our deep dive cohort. That's just the cohort program. Outside of that, there are 2,000 women in our Facebook group community and hundreds of women that I coach. I personally did 151 free coaching sessions last year.
Wow.
Not counting my cohort coaching sessions. And so we definitely, and there are businesses from all industries and backgrounds.
I love that. So I want to know what we can do to support you in your business.
I appreciate that. I think first go to the website and buy from those ladies. There's 8 women on my website that you can buy from. They sell various products, beauty products. And one is, sells womb care products. And there's just a lot of cool stuff in our retail cohort. You can either contribute to their crowdfund or you can buy from them if you go to my site and click on the invest button. You could also donate to my organization because we are a nonprofit. The way that I set it up that way because I knew that our customers, Black women entrepreneurs, have less access to capital, can't afford these services. And so you could also donate to SistahBiz, and then just tell people, spread the word. And yeah, I think those are probably the biggest things. I'm also looking for more Black women coaches to join our coaches network that we're launching. Okay. So if there are Black women who already do business coaching out there who want to use my methodology, curriculum, system, and be a part of our coaching subscription program, they should call and reach out as well.
One question I do have when it comes to coaches, because you do have it open to business coaches, is there some sort of, not certificate program, but how do you know that these coaches are effective? What have they gone through to become that coach?
Right. So that's what we're building out now. So one, I want to see a track record of success with your clients. Mm-hmm. I want to see the clients who were at a lower place than they are now, that you helped cross the 6-figure line, or went from the 6-figure to the 7-figure line, or landed a certain number of contracts, or reached certain revenue goals, or scaled up, or found investors. I want to see results. And then they'll go through a training program on how to use my coaching methodology. I do not want to train someone who's never been a business coach before, because my concepts, I want you to be able to say, yeah, I know what that means. I'm just going to use your approach, and your systems and your platform, because I have an online coaching platform that I use with my folks, and it's very data driven. All my people track their website traffic, their revenues, and that stuff is entered into their coaching portal, and they have full access to it, and we look at it. So I want any coach that comes in to be data driven, and so those are the biggest things: track record of results and willingness to go through my training program to use my methodology. Okay.
Only reason why I asked is there's a lot of coaches out there, and sometimes we don't know if they're truly successful, or their experience, or what training they've gone through, so that we can be successful. So a lot of people are out there spending money on these coaching classes and these online courses, and they're just kind of it's either a hit or a miss.
That's absolutely right. I have a lot of women who come to me, and they get to me and they have been sucked, thousands of dollars have been sucked out of their budget for something that they thought would save them or help them or propel their business towards success. And they didn't. And I can't tell you how many times that's happened, but I know the business, I know the work, I know how to read the data, I know how to do the research to see if a coach is really getting results. And I fully intend to make sure that with my brand and reputation and mission on the line, that I do the proper due diligence on any coach that comes on board with me.
Nice. So I love the business. So I'll definitely be sharing a lot. There's a lot of people out there, a lot of women that I know that have businesses that could use your help, and they might not have the resources to pay out, the $1,000 a month for a coach. And on top of that, so something like that is very attractive. And to have the sisterhood is so important too. Knowing that there's other women out there that are going through the same program, and that, you can see people in these steps. People in the middle, people who have been successful in their business from your coaching. So I think that's amazing. So please let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah. So you can find me at www.sistah.biz, and that's Sistah as in SISTAH. So Sistah.biz. And on Instagram and Facebook, we're at SisterBiz.
Nice. So I know you have to go. I definitely, again, appreciate you taking time out. And I know you're a busy person. If you did all those free coachings, I can't even imagine who's paying. And so you're busy. So I truly appreciate it. And make sure everybody stays tuned every Thursday. And don't forget to tell your friends, to tell their friends, and maybe we could be friends, to tune in to Melanin Blvd. All right. So we're out, and we'll see you next week.